Hi, welcome to the first tutorial video other than installing JavaFX and configuring it. If you haven't done it already, you should click on the left-hand side of your screen, click App Entry, right-click Main, and click Run Main. And what you should see is this background. And there are three components of this background. There is a papyrus wallpaper texture, William Shakespeare, and a theater background. And the reason I've designed this as your initial view is because everything in JavaFX is about adding things that you can see to your stage. The base of your entire JavaFX application is your stage. And if you look over here at override, the public void start passes in stage, primary stage. And primary stage can be called whatever you want. You can change it to example name, and then if I change it to example name, I just got to change that in the other places that it appears. The stage name itself does not matter. It's just a variable name. But everything in JavaFX is added to your stage. Your stage is your application window. So if I have the stage, or change it example name, but let me change it back to primary stage. I use the Shift FX function hovered over a variable to automatically select all other instances of that variable. So the first line of code is primary stage set title magic Java. If I run the application and drag it down, I see that the application's name is magic Java. So let's exit it. The next line of code, this is going to be confusing at first, but it's this.turtleTower equals new turtle tower, and I pass in three variables: starting backdrop, screen width, and screen height. And if I scroll up and look at it, I'll see that screen width is equal to settings.screenWidth, and screen height is equal to settings.screenHeight. I created a static method. And if you go over on the left-hand side of your screen and look under utility, you'll see a class called settings. And you'll see here screen width, screen height. My monitor is 1920 by 1080. Update the screen width and screen height to be your monitor. And notice that there are these static methods that return the width and the height. And so settings.getScreenWidth or getScreenHeight, anywhere in your application, can get the correct height and width for your monitor. Later on, we'll make it configurable automatically. And notice the starting backdrop variable. If I go right here, I see what it is. /assets, backdrops, textures, background papyrus, 1920.png. So these are the three variables that go into the creation of my turtle tower object. And remember, this JavaFX course assumes that you already know a decent amount of object-oriented programming, you're familiar with the programming basics, and now you want to expand your basics to be able to create rich visual applications. So let's look at the Turtle Tower class. That is also under the App Entry package, where there's App Router, don't worry about that just yet, the main application, and then there's Turtle Tower. And let's see what I see in Turtle Tower. I see the variables passed in are the resource address, so that was the papyrus link, the width, and the height. And so image equals new image resource address. In JavaFX, to create an image, you do this constructor and you pass in the URL for that resource. Then you store that image in an image view. All images have to be added to an image view to be seen on the screen. The image is the raw file itself. The image view is what you use to see that file. And so this.backdrop view equals new image view image. I pass in that image object that I've created into the image view to create an image view. And then I set the width and set the height of that image view. And then, this is very important, I use this.getChildren.add this.backdrop view. Everything in JavaFX is about adding to a parent. So your stage is your base application window, and you have to add the backdrop view to your stage. But you do that indirectly. So the first thing that happens is the Turtle Tower extends your pane. And your pane is the page that you're going to add to your window. You can have multiple pages in your application. So in this case, the pane is the parent of this .backdrop view, that image that we've added of papyrus. And as we add more images, we'll add them to the pane, and then we're going to see them in the application window. So this right here is the constructor code for adding the very base image, the papyrus image from the starting backdrop variable under main. And then there's the same kind of code, but we add Shakespeare, and then we add as well as the theater backdrop. And so it's the same kind of code. Only thing a little bit different here is I do Shakespeare view.setLayoutY and setLayoutX. These methods right here are used to position your image on your screen. And so the upper left boundary of the image will go to the setLayoutX, and the Y position is how far down on the screen from top to bottom that image is located. So if I run the program again, I see Shakespeare view set layout Y 500, X 800. So Y 500, the image box is roughly this dimension. So it goes down about 500 pixels. It has the image. And then for X, it goes out about 800 pixels, a little bit over, a little bit under, halfway through the image. And here is Shakespeare. So that is the turtle tower, or the base page on which we're adding everything. And it's called Turtle Tower because there's a really funny folklore story about a science lecturer and a woman. And the science lecturer is talking about the universe, and he starts talking about what the universe is on top of. And the woman, who's not particularly educated, says that the universe rests on top of a turtle. And then the science lecturer says, well, what is that turtle resting on top of? And the woman, she's being a smartass, says, it's turtles all the way down. That turtle is on top of a turtle is on top of a turtle, and it infinitely goes down. And this is a funny little folklore myth. And so that's why I call the base of our application Turtle Tower, because everything we're going to be adding is going to be added in layers onto the Turtle Tower, the very base of what we're doing. So back over in the main application, everything that happened with creating the base, the Turtle Tower that has Shakespeare, the papyrus background, the theater background, all of that happened in the constructor for Turtle Tower. And the Turtle Tower object is a pane, or a blank page. And then here's where we get back to the JavaFX stage. We have scene, you can call it whatever name you want, example name, equals new scene, and then you pass in your root object. Your root object has to be a pane of some sort that can hold child nodes. So you could have a blank pane or a blank page, and this is what you'll be adding things to as you add things to your window. And then the constructor takes in the width and the height of the application. So we're only at the first 2 lines of code under the main application, but we've already created the base of the application, the Turtle Tower, which is a pane. We've added 3 images to it, and then we've set the scene's root image or root node as the Turtle Tower. Then here we have CSS that's added to the application. CSS is cascading style sheets. Use it for fine tweaking the colors and visuals of your application, but you're going to worry about this later. And this is very important. Your primary stage, set scene, and then the name of the scene, and then stage.show. So we have the stage created from the start method. We have to create an initial root node that is then passed into the scene, and then we set the stage's scene to whatever we named our scene variable. In theater, and that's why we have a theater backdrop, you have scenes as you go through your play. Now, it is good practice in JavaFX to not use multiple scenes, although there are some cases where you could use multiple scenes. It really depends on what you're doing, but it's absolutely not necessary to use multiple scenes. You could just as easily change the objects that appear on screen without changing your scene. And then finally, stage.show. That's why when I press play, the stage pops up. And then now there's route app to app section. And we're going to talk about this in the next video.